Hello again, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Meet a Scientist. Today we're going to be meeting Amy Young, who is a social conservationist. Let's hear more about it. Meet a Scientist.
Hi everyone, my name is Amy Young and I am a social conservationist. I don't actually work for just one organization. I work for organizations as they need my assistance. So, for example, some people that I have worked with are San Diego Zoo Global in Peru and the Mountain Lion Foundation here in California, and most recently, the African Painted Dog Research Trust, which is in Zimbabwe.
What do you study and where?
In order to protect natural areas or animals that are threatened, I talk to the people that live nearby, and we figure out what the problems are and try and figure out what a solution might be. And then we also, while we're still talking with the community, figure out what works best for them as far as if they would like to have programs like conservation education in their schools or community-based projects where they might be able to earn some income for the adults. For example, in Zimbabwe, we were speaking with communities who are having trouble with predators that are killing their livestock, as well as elephants who are eating the crops out of their gardens and their fields. So we're helping them figure out ways to protect their livestock and their crops that are environmentally friendly and that are ways that they can also generate income for themselves. In Peru, I worked with several biologists who are all focusing on different animals that are all having conflict issues with local communities. Jaguars, spectacled bears, and giant river otters are all projects that I worked on with San Diego Zoo Global. And the giant river otter is interesting because it has additional aspects to their conservation issues because they use mercury when they're mining gold. And so a part of the questionnaire we worked on there was to find out how much the miners were aware that using mercury is dangerous for both themselves and the environment. And if they had the support to do so, would they be willing to change their mining practices so that they could do it in a less damaging way? Here in Southern California, people have conflict with mountain lions when they kill their livestock. So when that happens, then we go in and we educate the people with the livestock how they can protect their animals so that the mountain lions aren't able to attack them and create that conflict.
What kinds of tools does a scientist like you use?
The tools that I use help me get information from people, and also I try to help encourage them to come up with a solution. So sometimes I am conducting an interview with them, which is basically having a conversation between the two of us, but I am recording what they say, and that's the data that I get from an interview. Another option is if I create a questionnaire ahead of time, and that is where I have specific questions that help me answer questions for my research. And then I take the information from those interviews and questionnaires. So I take that data and then I will analyze that to determine what I think is the next best step for that community after I have gathered their input. And some other tools that I also use are camera traps. We'll put camera traps out in the wild so we can take pictures of wildlife. That helps us learn what animals are living in the area and how many of them there are.
What do you love the most about being a scientist?
My favorite part of my job is when I am allowed to give someone the opportunity to share their voice or their experiences. Sometimes when scientists are working hard to save an animal, they don't always understand how essential the people are. And so frequently this means that local people feel left out of the project and that scientists care more about animals than people. So when I ask someone if they want to take my questionnaire in order to participate in my research, and it makes them feel excited that anyone, much less a scientist, thinks that what they have to say is important. That just makes me so happy because they are very important and most people don't understand that. And so when I'm able to see that they're having that experience, which could be for the first time, that someone is asking them their opinion and wants to know what they think and and what they think the solutions are, that makes my day. That's perfect.
Tell us about the coolest moment you've experienced in the field.
Well, I would say that would be recently when I was just in South Africa working with elephants. Sometimes in order to learn more about an animal's behavior, like where they go and how frequently, scientists will put a collar either around their neck or around an ankle, and it has a GPS on it. And so then we can track their movements. And those collars need to be changed. And so when I was in South Africa, we changed the GPS collars on 3 elephants. And for one of the elephants, it was my job to take the fecal sample. And feces is a technical term for poop. So there's only one place to get a poop sample from an animal. So I reached up the elephant's bottom and I scooped out some poop so we could monitor the health of the elephant. I am much smaller than an elephant. So when the elephant woke up after we were done working on them, he was not in pain and he was not harmed by this procedure, but it was definitely the most interesting thing I've ever done in the field.
Why did you want to become a scientist?
I wanted to become a scientist to ensure that both people and wildlife are genuinely benefiting from conservation. And the first step to do that is to design and conduct a research project well, so that it's producing data or information that is accurate and representative of everyone involved in the project. So when you have a good research project and accurate data, then you can take that information and design a good community-based conservation project that will be sustainable over the years and will improve the lives for both people and wildlife.
What kind of schoolwork and experiences set you on this path?
The first thing that got me on this path was traveling in Africa and talking with local people about the problems that they were having with wildlife. I realized that if we wanted to help wildlife, we needed to help and work with people too. So I volunteered with several different organizations there in Africa. And when I came back home, I worked hard on and earned my master in zoology, which is the study of animals. And I already had my bachelor's degree in anthropology, which is the study of people. So it makes sense that I want to work with people in order to help save wildlife.
If you could be any plant or animal, which would you be and why?
If I could be any animal, I would want to be an elephant. They live in large family groups, and everyone helps raise and protect the young. They pass on information to younger generations. So the older elephants teach the younger elephants things like where they can get food and water, even in a time of drought. And when they communicate with one another, they have a loud rumble that we can hear, but they also communicate using their toes, using their feet, through vibrations in the ground. And so elephants are just very resilient and they're able to survive difficult situations.
Meet a scientist. Wow, I learned a lot. I'm sure you guys did too. Big thank you to Amy for telling us a little bit about what it means to do social conservation. See everybody next time.